Ooh, we're back. Tour's over. Massive, huge tour that lasted from the first day of summer to the last day of summer. And we are joined by Mr. Benjy Eisen. How are we doing, sir?
Or is it this
Well,
way?
we were doing great until I heard you say tour's over. Tour is never over. It's just hiatuses and the days between.
There you go. The days between. Exactly.
Fish needs to have their own version of days between. You know, like they're back in the train for after the days between.
Right.
They need something for those times in between.
Right. All right. Let me start off with this then. Let me ask this. So they did a huge tour, 21, 22 shows, whatever. Took the break, did 8 shows. Do you think they missed a beat because they took that time off in between the 21 and the 8?
I definitely do. Yeah, I do. Don't you?
Yes. It feels like SPAC is still the only tour closer they did.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought, and I think that most people agree with me, that like it was either, I don't know if it was lazy or if they thought they were being clever by having it be part of the summer tour. I don't know what benefit they got from that, but you know, we all know that a tour that starts in September, weeks after the traditional weeks after Labor Day, is no longer a summer tour; it's a fall run.
Right, but I mean, technically, if you go by the seasons, it's technically still the summer until the 21st.
Yeah, but they could say September tour. They could say, you know, back to school tour.
Right. back to school boogie tour. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, semantics. It doesn't matter. I mean, but to your point, Kev, I do think that anytime Fish takes a break, it always amazes me how it takes them a second to get back into it. And I don't know about this time, but I know that in the past, when they have a long break, they obviously, and this goes for any band, when you have a long break, then you spend a few days at minimum rehearsing. But when you only have a few weeks off, most of the bands that I know firsthand and that I worked with and whose tours I've been a part of, if you take that short of a time off, at most, you know, you probably just come back for a sound check. And Fish, Fish is one of those rare bands that they actually do their own sound checks and they actually use that time. You know, even if they're in the same venue multiple nights, which not every band does. But you know, and maybe they rehearsed a day before. I mean, I don't know. A lot of bands wouldn't. A lot of bands would just say, well, we just had to, you know, a few weeks off. You're in the East Street Band. Come on, you know how Gloria goes. You know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think, and since they didn't really, you know, debut anything or have anything really outrageous that they played at hand or like on this entire tour, it wasn't like, oh, we need to practice this or nail this down before we play it coming into it. So it definitely seemed like they kind of picked up right where they left off too. Like usually, to your point, Benjy, is like Dick's, how sometimes Dick's is a couple weeks after tour ends. It always feels like, especially these days, that Thursday night is kind of the kick back into gear show. Whereas I feel like on this run, they were like, that first night was like balls to the wall. Like you were like, oh, it's like they played last night or like last week or like whatever. It didn't feel like
a festival. I think was good for them because they spent the whole day with other bands playing and they were in the middle of all the nonsense going on.
Well, it's very curious. It deserves us to talk about this for a second because kicking off, like, I mean, I think the reason you put together a tour like this is because you get a really nice offer for a festival. You can't refuse it. And on top of that, you get to play in front of 60,000. It checks all the boxes, you know, it checks all the boxes, but it's really expensive to even for a really well-paid festival to fly out there and just do it as a one-off, especially Fish brought all their lights with them, you know, and you want to be able to do a festival on your best foot with all that stuff, with your full production. So you add a week afterwards and you route back to the East Coast, you know, which is what they did, adding Hampton, and also, you know, they were overdue in Atlanta. So it like it allows them to do some of these things that they didn't actually get to do during the tour. You know, Hampton and Atlanta. Birmingham, I think, was just a nice little, you know, routing bonus or whatever it was. But, you know, and it's a new venue, you know, so all of those things. I mean, I think it kind of, you know, whether or not, despite how premeditated it may or may not have been, it kind of all seems like all the parts just kind of fit together really nicely.
Yeah. Agree.
I hear
Ending
you.
with
Yeah,
Hampton,
well.
but you either begin or you end with Hampton. You can't.
Right, how was it on the ground there in Hampton?
Well, it was really interesting. So my first Hampton was 1997,
Okay.
which not only makes me old as fuck, but also that was lifetimes ago. And I have memories that are just crystallized in my mind of the 90s in Hampton, and then also of the reunion in Hampton, and especially the 90s, like 97, the first time I was there. That's a time in your life, in my life anyway, where like you get to a town with all your new friends, and you have no parental, no adult supervision, and you have all those hotels that line the street that go right to Hampton, including the Shred Roof Inn, and the Holiday Inn, and Waffle House, and you think you're in heaven, and you can watch the venue, all these things. And the venue at the time, I mean, we all know what the venue looks like. And in 1997, that venue looked like a futuristic spaceship. And now it looks like it's a relic of the past.
Exactly like it did in 1997.
Like a crash spaceship or something that needs to be like
totally.
remodeled.
Stuck in time. Like, it's like from the Jetsons or something. Like it's with Dippin' Dots. It was once of the future, and now it doesn't hold that same appeal. So there was that. Nonetheless, being back in Hampton, and there's a reason why everyone loved it. It's just the GA element of it, GA of full GA, not just floor, is a lot of fun. And there is something, they play great in that room. I think they not to get ahead of ourselves, but I think the three best shows of this part of the summer tour were at Hampton.
I've seen 13 shows at Hampton between the Dead, Jerry, and PHiSH, and I've never gone up in the seats.
Yeah, wow.
I just never. I never. You walk in, you kind of like wander in, and you're in the middle of the floor, and you're just like, "This is cool. I'm just gonna stand here for the night."
Well, Hampton also with PHiSH has PHiSH lore from. I mean, not only like the first times there where they did the rotation jam and stuff like that, but they have obviously Hampton Comes Alive came from there, and so I think I think Hampton Comes Alive probably cemented it, as a legendary stop.
Yeah, and they played it so perfectly. I went in '95, and Jerry had died. They were on that huge tour. They were like taking over, filling in that void that was gone for a lot of people who wanted to stay on the road, and that night was just so special that they were playing at the place that was so hallowed to the Grateful Dead.
Deadheads, correct me if I'm wrong, Kev, because I don't know this. But Deadheads didn't not refer to it as the mothership, right?
No, they did not. No, I don't think any of us ever called it that. It was
the
Coliseum. Yeah. We didn't refer to jams by cities. It wasn't the Philly Scarlet Fire. It was,
I knew that, but actually, Billy Troidsman asked me before the Mahalo Dead shows last year. I put Mind Left Body Jam on the set list, and he goes, "What the hell is that?" And then I gave him a few different examples, and he listened. And he goes, "Man," he goes, "these were just jams from these nights."
Right. It's like it didn't really have a name or like anything that we like built around. It's just that.
Mind Left Body was a piece of music. There was a definite melody that Garcia and Weir played with each other.
But it's amazing to hear a member of the band go, there was a title for that.
Right. That's awesome.
Never heard of it. You're making that shit up.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
I absolutely love it. So are they going to go back to Hampton? I heard there were like lots of cops. There was the whole incident the one night. I mean,
I heard from somebody, and I mean, it probably was just a listener of this show. It was someone without any inside information, but they had heard that this was the last time that PHiSH was going to be in Hampton, and they heard that before the homicide, happened. And that feels right to me. Like, I mean, I could see it either way. But if this was the last time in Hampton, then we could say, well, they outgrew the room. It also no longer, like now they play, like now the Sphere is a place to look forward to. And, there's evolution there, and we don't need to be stuck in time at this, very decrepit and decaying
antiquated
venue.
Yeah.
venue. No,
right.
no. All right, you threw out the sphere. The rumor we're hearing is 8 shows in April.
Well, I mean, I'm hearing similar. I'm not. I just don't have a date to what I'm hearing, but that
Right.
plays in the timeline. Yeah.
Right now, T today threw something out at me that Queen wants to play the sphere, and I was like, that would be huge. Queen has enough cool ass songs that they could.
Well, yeah, and what
Yeah,
Brian May
but-
said was the graphics. Like he went to the Eagles and he
Oh,
said sitting there during the Eagles show, he was like, we could dominate these graphics. Like he's like, we could do so much cool shit in here. So I thought that was interesting to
Yeah,
hear.
they totally could. The Eagles, I saw the Eagles a year ago there, and they said, Don Henley said to the audience, he kind of berated everyone for looking up, and he goes, yeah, this room has really cool stuff going on, but we're here on stage, and the sound in this room is the real reason we're playing it. But no, that's not you're playing it because of the money, Don.
Right. 1A is the money, 1B is the sound.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, his band's made so much money in that building. It is really like it doesn't compute. Like it just the math is insane.
Quite profound.
Is what? Yeah, quite profound. Yeah, it really is. But and I mean, they're good for their like grandkids.
Right. It's like Steven Spielberg. They're interviewing Steven Spielberg making the original Jurassic Park, and he's like, I would do this even if I didn't get paid. He made more money than anyone ever made off that movie. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you'd be doing this if you weren't getting paid.
Well, what's funny about that, speaking of movies, Kev, is, The Wizard of Oz is doing really well there, like doing really well. So now
the
they're
version, the remix version.
So now they're in talks with the studios to get other films made for there, because it's such a, like Benjy just said, it's a moneymaker for whatever
Star
you put
Wars,
in there.
man, I want to fly through space in an X-wing fighter in the sphere. That would be
have you been to Cosm in LA?
Not yet. There's a couple games coming up that I'm trying to get tickets for to go to, and all my buddies that have gone have said it's pretty. I was like, what would it be like to see a concert in there though? Because they did the Matrix in there not too long ago.
They did the Matrix in there, and they're going to be doing some movies in there. Now as well, and so yeah.
But everything I hear for sports, like college football, the NHL, and my buddy watched the World Series there last year when the Dodgers won and said it's phenomenal. Like, it's right down the street too. It's right by the Forum.
Yeah, I really want to go see something there.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, next time you're in town, let's go.
Yeah, yep,
for sure.
What is this? A stadium? An arena?
It's a bar.
Yeah, it's a mini sphere in a bar that they made it for sports, but just like how the sphere is made for concerts and they can put movies in there. I think like Cosm, because it's a, I don't know, is it larger than an IMAX? I think it has to be.
Yeah, it is. So the deal is, for those that don't know, it's basically like it's kind of like theater seating, but they're bar stools and bar seats that you sit in, and it has 3 different levels, and then there's a giant screen in front of you that plays the game, and it's filmed in this almost like IMAX, where you're like you're surrounded kind of by the game. It's IMAX and the sphere combined in a bar, and that's one of the rooms. And then there's another room that's basically like a regular bar with a ton of TVs set up and things that you can like watch from in there as well. So it's a really cool little venue. Not little, huge venue, but yeah.
It's the sphere meets
Buffalo Wild Wings. There you go. Exactly, Starco. That's a good way to put it.
I absolutely love it. Oh man. Starkill said over one volume that the Eagles and Chesney had the worst visuals. I did not see any of what Chesney did, but the Eagles doing Hotel California with the whole Hotel California behind them was nostalgic cool. Let me put it that way. It's what you would have expected, but
there's that in the opening scene, just like everyone loved the opening scene for The Dead, myself included. But with the Eagles, it was LA, where you had all these landmarks like the Troubadour and just these like LA landmarks for the Eagles and for basically anyone that came out of the Laurel Canyon Sound and the Sunset Strip, even metal. I picture some washed up metal guitar players in there looking up, telling his new girlfriend how I used to play the Troubadour.
You should have seen the Roxy back in the day.
Yeah, the Roxy's on that screen. Yeah, that's exactly right. The whiskey's up there. The Rainbow Room.
Nice. Back
all in the top 80s. Ones.
and
I was big.
and the chateaus up there as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also saw the video for them doing Life in the Fast Lane, which was exactly what you would expect, people driving in a car.
You know, I think PHiSH actually had. I let's say I saw the Dead, the Eagles, and PHiSH there, and I mean I loved what PHiSH did, and I loved their concept, and I loved I loved it. You know, I loved what they did with it conceptually, but visually, I don't think the Moment Factory. I think that Moment Factory has other areas of expertise, and I don't necessarily know that doing these large scale graphics, like compared
Limitations. They had
yeah,
limitations.
they had limitations, especially compared to what some of the other bands have been doing in there. I would have loved to sing the EDM stuff because I bet you that stuff is like.
I thought that's amazing. Yeah, totally. And even the Backstreet Boys shit looked kind of cool too. But I will say the one cool thing that PHiSH did do were those robots with the lights that shot out of the eyes of the robots. That was phenomenal. That was just next
really
level.
Cool. The car wash was fun.
The car wash was fun.
And they had and I mean I'm underselling it. They had a lot of really incredible moments. I just think that I think that there are other like treatment there's other video production companies out there that have the edge over what the Moment Factory is doing, you know.
Well, especially now too, now that the Sphere is kind of, you know what it is and it's been around for a little bit. I'm sure there's companies that are specifically designing things, you know, pitching to bands that are like, hey, let us do this because we can do X, Y, and Z, and like come out to LA and do the mini Sphere and let us show you what we can do, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's expanding with that for sure.
Yep, that's right.
Interesting. So people are freaking out. Dead PHiSH playing New Year's. We aren't even on sale yet till Friday. Already tickets on StubHub, like $10,000 for a 4-night pass for it. So everyone's, you know, everyone always bitches about PHiSH. I've been saying for a year now, I've been priced out of the market. But the CEO, did you see this, Benjy, of Live Nation decided to come out and say ticket prices were too cheap?
No, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, he said, well, what he compared it to, Kev? Wait, let's just give you.
He said at a sporting event, people don't blink twice of paying $40,000 for sitting at the 50-yard line.
Or courtside seats at a Knicks game or a Lakers game is nothing to drop.
Okay, there's a few major differences here. One, PHiSH's audience, PHiSH relies on repeat customers, and so that's the number one thing. They've always been egalitarian, and I kind of just feel that like rock and roll in general, you know, it's like when Fugazi came out and was selling $5 tickets when they could have sold $20 tickets, you know, and I think that like the coolest thing you can possibly do if you're in rock and roll right now is to have an affordable concert ticket and keep them that way. I know that there's a petition going around now. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if not, I encourage you to seek it out, telling PHiSH to turn off platinum ticketing. Okay. And I mean, that's a hot topic. I'm sure that they, we'll let that one just be. But in terms of actual in terms of face value tickets, I think that they should be undervalued, and they should hold fast at that, because you want to let everybody see you. You want to let everyone come, and you want to sell out, and you can't sell out PHiSH. PHiSH can't do a 30-date summer tour if they're selling $40,000 tickets. No way. These are people that are going to go see them once or twice, you know, to begin with, and they're not going to be real fans. And so, I mean, for Fare Thee Well, I remember getting into an argument about pricing for ticketing, because we were going to have what then seemed like, you know, outrageous ticket prices, which aren't now. But the most expensive tickets originally on paper were going to be for the front 50 rows, which were going to be seated. And it was like the one battle that I was like, I'll die on this hill. Like, I'm going to fight this. And it was, I saw PHiSH in Miami on New Year's. And I remember calling Pete Shapiro from the floor being like, hey man, like, not only am I on a GA floor with all my friends and I couldn't be if they were seated, but like the band's going to be playing to people that aren't watching the band, but have their backs turned to them so they can, you know, take their Instagram photo, and they're going to be talking the whole time. You want the most hardcore fans in front of the stage, and therefore you want the cheapest tickets to be in front of the stage and have it be a lottery. You know?
Yes, that's like Billy Joel's thing. Like he never sells the first few rows to the show and like gives those to the real fan, like his, like the members of his club, like all that shit, because that's who deserves it and that's who needs it. And I think, Kev, the thing is, if you're gonna do that too, that's gonna eliminate GA floor for everything, because you're not going to pay 40 grand and not get the rail, right? Like you want your front row seat if you're paying that money to be up front.
Right.
So there's going to be seats on the floor for every
Well,
show.
they've added seats on the floor for this run at for
at
PHiSH.
MSG.
They have general admission and they have sections 1, 2, and 3 or something. They put A, B, and C. They stuck.
That's very curious. I wonder how that plays in with whatever the gag is. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too about these tickets, okay, so you can say it's supply and demand, but the fact of the matter is that $40,000 tickets or even $4,000 tickets, right? Even while there are people that will buy them, there's a limited demand for them.
Yes.
So if you put the entire arena up on sale for that price, you're going to end up with a fan base that turns their back on you and abandons you, walks away from you begrudgingly and cursing your name with one arenas that they can't fill.
Right. Well, I've always said that they should do a Dutch auction. You start the price at $4,000 for the 4-day, but the next week you lower it to $3,500 and see if that's where the market is. Then you lower it to $3,000 and you lower it to $25,000 until it's down to $500.
Then the people that paid full price want a refund.
Then they get pissed, but then it's their own fault. But then they're guaranteed to get the tickets that they bought at.
Right,
so it's like,
but then the next time nobody buys tickets because everyone's just gonna wait.
You're waiting.
But somebody's going to get scared. That's why people buy platinum tickets, because they're in there and it's the heat of the moment. And they're like,
right. That's where they get you. That's where they get you with the timer and like the wait to get in. You finally get in. You're like, oh shit. All right. Now, all right, what's left? Oh shit. I'm just going to grab these. I'll sell them later and I'll buy it. You know what I mean? And completely.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in favor of a band the size of PHiSH should be doing, I think they're hitting the spot right exactly where it is. They're not cheap tickets there, but like 120, something, that range. And then up for Hollywood Bowl, what the garden boxes were like 200 and Sphere, that's around the price you're paying is 200 something, at face value, not platinum. And I think that's the sweet spot. And I think that they should actually fight to preserve it that way so that everybody gets a chance to do that. The band can make plenty of money that way. They can make plenty of money that way and keep their fan base happy.
Yeah. Did you see Robbie Krieger for his Greek show? For the first half hour or 10 minute or whatever it was, the tickets went on sale. They were $275. Like the first time they played the Greek, he sold the tickets for like the same prices then. And then they went up.
No. It was the cover of the album. Remember the cover?
Oh, yeah, right.
Said rooms $275.
Right, the Morrison Hotel. Yeah, right. The Morrison Hotel was $270. That's what it was. It was the Morrison Hotel.
But it was only like the first 50 tickets. It wasn't that
right. It was the first 50 you got if you got them early, because he just put out another thing about it. And like,
good for the bots. Good for the scalpers that got them $2.
Right.
Have you guys seen Robbie Krieger lately?
Yeah.
No, I've never got to see him.
Yeah. Where'd you see him?
At the his last little thing he did.
The whiskey?
Yeah. Was it the
I saw him with the guys from Eggy at Bottle Rock, and it was a music festival, and you could tell he wasn't used to it, and he kept on asking where the boombox was coming from, meaning the music on the other stage that you had bleed.
That's hilarious, because the only time I saw him before that, he played with Widespread Panic. 30 years ago at the Wiltern, he came out and they did Light My Fire and Stop Breaking Down with him, and it was phenomenal. But that was like I said, like 30 years ago with them, and then I hadn't seen him since. And he was going to play with Taper's Choice at the Troubadour, but then he backed out.
Right. That's right.
And then so
why did he back out?
He had his concert like later that week or the next day or whatever, and he was not feeling well, so he didn't want to
push it,
show up and do that one.
Screw it up there.
Yeah.
So Live Nation there's a trial coming up with them. There's a guy named Tommy Dorfman who for the past, I guess, 15 years or so has been suing them for illegal practices, monopoly practices. This is my pitch, Benjy, to everyone listening. We're talking to him Friday. he's actually going to come on volume with us. So if you're over on volume, you'll get to check that out
live. Yeah, we're going to talk to him live. I mean, it's crazy that he's been in litigation with him for, what'd you say, Kev, 15 years?
2011 is when the alleged incident happened. He was like, they cock blocked him basically. And he's like, screw you, I'm going to take you to court. And that was in December.
Crazy that not only have they had him tied up doing that, but they've been able just to keep going on while this guy's like suing them for doing what they're doing. And they're like, we like for the last 15 years, it doesn't like, so it's crazy to me that they're allowed to do that. It's nuts.
Yeah, I think that's crazy too.
Nuts.
So anyway,
hey Richie, this guy, he was there too, but he was like, that was a funny moment.
Nice.
So we're going to talk to him, and that's going to be fun because
yeah, I'm interested to hear what he has to say and what he can discuss and what he can't discuss, but the whole story behind it, I'm curious.
I just hope we don't end up in court
testifying.
You had Mr. Dorfman on your podcast. It's not
a podcast.
Always a good concern is you just don't want to end up in court.
Right. Never.
It's not a podcast. All right. So we talked about the 8 shows. Let's go back to the other.
Benjy, though. Benjy, like overall with being there, which night was your favorite at Hampton? Which one did you think was the best? And honestly, that Sunday night, if that was their last show there, was that the way to go out with? You know what I mean? Because even we talked about just it didn't even feel like a closing set of tour. Does it feel like the night they turned out the lights there for good?
Yeah, it didn't feel like a closing set of tour, but I really did love that night. I love that second set. But the Saturday night, I thought, I don't know. I thought the Saturday night had some phenomenal stuff in it as well. And same as Friday. And then the only thing that I thought that competed with Hampton for the tour was the first night of Birmingham, because I thought, they came back with the festival, and the way that they played the festival reminded me very much of the first night at Folsom Field, because they were just it wasn't anything they did musically so much as just their angle was balls to the wall, we're gonna go full tilt, and that meant that the dynamics had gone away a little bit, and instead it was just Machine Gun Trey, which I love. I think we all love, turned up to 11, and that I thought that was great. But then the next night at Birmingham, I thought they said, okay, now we're really going to show what we, now we got that first, you play in front of a sea of fans, and first timers too, for that matter. So you have that nervous energy that I thought they did. And then the first night at Birmingham, I thought was the show of the tour up until Hampton.
Interesting. Okay. That's okay. I like it. That's cool.
What do you guys think about Hampton?
I felt like there were moments each night. The sense, the ether edge. What else? The what's going through your mind and the sense. That was a fantastic 45 minutes.
That's exactly right. I thought that was a great segment. The Beneath a Sea of Stars, I thought, it finally starting to come into its own, where there's less.
Right. Yeah. It got very out there. I think somebody mentioned
Dave, like exactly.
Exactly. But then other things like the tweezer, they did an almost half-hour tweezer, but it was very much in missionary position for the whole thing. It really just didn't get buck wild.
Yeah, it didn't get buck wild, but I don't know. I think that the tweezer was great. The opening up with energy, and then opening up energy a little bit was great. You have the classic tweezer Ruby Waves combo, and then the No Man back into tweezer. I thought that night was great, and of course you have to close a set like that with rock and roll, because that's what it is, baby. But then that second night I think is probably where I put that probably in first place, because that first set, let's see, we had Ether Edge, like you said, which was phenomenal, as it has been, and Moon Age Daydream, which is, you can't close a first set with anything better than that. Everything's Right was good, and then Simple Wave of Hope back into Simple, Beneath the Sea of Stars, Jaboo, and then of course they decide to make they decide to make mistakes by ending it with Susie Greenberg and Julius. But you know, and then they came back down for Isabella. I thought that I thought it was a phenomenal night of music.
It's funny you
Trey
say that because
always-
there was a few fourth quarters that they definitely dropped the ball in throughout the entire tour, but then there were
more
also
often than not, man. More often than not.
okay,
they
more often
treat
than
us
not. You're
well.
yes, correct. Because I was gonna say, but then there's also nights like that. What's the use into the good times, bad times? That
Yeah.
absolutely was the highlight of tour for me personally. Like I thought that good times, bad times. I'd been pining for it forever, and to get that like that there, I was like, that's
I
the fish
made
I
it
love.
home for that.
That's
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I
I paid 100,000 for that front row. There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. So to me, there was just like specific like that. Oblivion and Bowie from Alpharetta, like those two stand out for me.
The Bowie was great.
Out of those in there, stand out really. You know, but a lot of like I was saying, sometimes those fourth quarters kind of left you a little bit like, oh, like even that number line drift to close that one set where like it had the Oblivion Bowie at the top half, and then you close it with that number line drift. I was like, oh man, refund.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, I think they get to that point where they're jammed out. They said they knew that they know that on some ways it's mission accomplished, you know, and once they do that, then I feel like then they're just like, okay, cool. We got another 25 minutes. Let's play some of our songs that we love.
Right.
And,
They play the solid hour, and then I think the time becomes a concern for Trey all of a sudden. He's like, oh, I wanted to make sure to do this. I wanted to make sure to do Julius the night after a stabbing. I got to throw that in the set.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just thought that was an odd choice for the night after his.
well, I'm
Well,
glad
no.
they could have opened with my friend and really like laid
Yeah,
it
I
on you.
was gonna say they played my friend right around the time I think that
Right,
it's happened.
basically.
That right when it was happening, that was the guy's cover. That was his alibi.
Right.
Just like when the guy fell from at the Chase Center, they played Wingsuit and Set Your Soul Free.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Beneath the Sea of Stars as kind of a tribute to that guy because that's a song about death and Ether Edge too, for that matter. They're songs about your soul ascending or whatever it is that you believe. Trey believes.
It's some deep stuff, man.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's Ghost of the Forest stuff, you know, and
Yeah.
and so
Kind of stuff that you think about, like smoking dirt weed going to high school in the back of your buddy's Mustang. You know,
Yeah.
you think things. The Tangerine Sunset is coming.
yeah, or it's dorm room bon talk.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
right. Foreman said something about helping Friendly Pod. Something about Folsom. What were you saying about Folsom and they only had Hampton above Folsom?
Oh, they rated Hampton only above Folsom for all the summer 3-night runs, which is nuts.
I have to go back and really pay more attention, but I think the first
He
three.
said they also rated Chicago above Hampton.
That was wrong.
It was so long ago, those shows in
I'd
Chicago.
have to go back to Chicago to listen to them again because I haven't listened to them since listening in real time. But I will say I had friends of mine that were there, and I remember thinking that good. Like I may have even texted one of them just said like good way of picking them or whatever because I thought that the Chicago weekend I remember it being great. I just haven't gone back and listened, since watching it in real time.
Right,
Yep.
exactly.
But and I think when you end a tour with SPAC, with the way that this SPAC was, it's like the last bite of food is what sits in your mouth, and I thought that closing it with the reprise show.
That SPAC universally after that SPAC run, everyone was like, "Wow, this band is a complete other level." After the Hampton, everyone's like, "That was fantastic. We all got to hang out at Hampton," but you didn't hear, "Wow, this band is at a complete other level." For universally from everyone. I'm sure a lot of our people probably think it was good because they were there. From what I'm seeing.
No, but I mean, I rate the summer tour, the proper summer tour, the midsummer tour, as higher pound for pound. Even adjusted for the number of shows, I just think that the proper summer tour had more big hits than this tour. I thought this tour was like a bonus tour. This was a lagniappe, an extra week, and again, I'm not swiping it. I thought it was great. I thought Hampton was truly great. I've listened to all 3 shows again since being there already, and yeah, I mean, I think it was great. I think the summer had some really magical moments.
The opening weekend was simply fantastic. That twist has to be one of the best things they did all summer over the opening weekend.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with Forman here though too. I kind of feel like SPAC was the best. Not only closing weekend, like as far as the wrap up, but also by the time they got there, they were so, like always, on point and ready to go, which I thought more so than they were by the time they got to Hampton. You know what I mean? Like it felt more like SPAC was, they were a lot more in line and like,
I mean, they were hitting it every night, and then they had Forest Hills, which was, I mean, I was at Forest Hills. I wouldn't call it a lull by any chance, but like they were just hitting these major things. And then Forest Hills happened, and that was a great experience in its own right. But the shows were not the top of the list. And then they got to SPAC, and like I said about the metaphor of like when you eat something spicy, and then that's what sticks with you, and you forget the rest of the meal. Like SPAC was just so great that I myself, after that tour, that's what I remembered the most. Was SPAC, and I imagine listening to all those reprises.
Right.
Yep.
So all 57 Tweezer reprises that they did that day.
Right. Apparently, PHiSH is releasing a vinyl version of Undermined. So I guess that means everything will finally have been printed on vinyl, maybe. And they're including a song called Tiny. Do you remember this, Benjy? It was an internet-only track you got when you bought Undermined back in 2003. It was like a little jam. It was like a 5-minute just little instrumental thing called Tiny.
Yeah, I remember it. I have to re-listen to. I
couldn't find it today. I looked on YouTube. All it wanted to give me was the Tiny Desk concert. I couldn't.
I'm sure I have it somewhere in my digital
on
file.
MP3. I got it.
Yeah, like from Napster or something.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also. People forget too about the Joy double. I mean, they've released like entire discs of bonus material.
Right.
Temple by Lamb's Pet by the Dove, which of course is just Trey and Tom, but has some really good stuff on there, and One Man's Trash as well from Trey.
Right. Well, my theory now is that Tiny is going to be the New Year's gag, since it's the only new thing, quote unquote, new thing we've heard from them since What's Going Through Your Mind at Mondegreen last year.
Well, this is going to be a real unpopular opinion, but I really hope that they play Perseid or like the modern version of Forward People.
Oh my God!
It's a perfect New Year's move forward people with love and light messaging. Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of that. I realize it's a hot take.
Man. Yeah, I don't know what else they did. I mean, I guess you bring
Hotbots, by the way. They teased Hotbots. It's some show in the past year or two. Now I can't remember what it is, but I swear I heard that tease. It may have been MSG. I can't remember where it was now. But they definitely teased Hotbots. And that's a song that, I mean, I think you have to go on Tom Marshall's SoundCloud to hear. But they need to be playing that one.
This is still what I think, Kev. Like this.
So we're doing the whole trilogy. We're gonna get Steve.
That should be the New Year's gag. The trilogy. Yes.
There's a lot of questions about the order of that, because when we had Tom Marshall on here at one time, he told us Epitaph was the first song. Then it was Steam, then it was Thread, which makes no sense. And since then, I've heard him say something completely different.
Well, I was going to say the problem that you're having is that you're listening to Tom Marshall at his word. Take him for his words, but
right. Well, you know what, to boot, we have heard a section of it. He played it for us live on here, and if you go back to one of our shows,
video of it.
Kev clipped it out. There's a video of it of him playing it off of his phone for us. So yes, it has not been debuted. It's been sort of recorded because he does have a recording of it. But
They recorded it for the Sigma Oasis album. It just didn't make the cut. They decided to put 14 minutes of Everything's Right on instead.
Instead of putting up a
Instead of having the second side of that album be the trilogy, which would have been perfect.
Would have been awesome. Would have been awesome.
Simply fantastic. Bungle, I used to have the free single, and on the B side of the free single was Strange Design. It was the only place you could get Strange Design, the studio version.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I'm gonna have to jump in a minute, guys.
All right, Benj. No problem, man. Thank you so much for dropping in. And we still want to do eventually a show with you and Scotty Marks and
Scotty Bernstein. Yeah,
Scott Bernstein and Scott Marks.
Together.
Yeah, I would love that too. I saw Scott Marks I saw him at Hampton on I guess the second night, right behind me, scribbling notes, and I because of various factors, I was having trouble with some sight things, and I wasn't quite sure that I could believe everything I saw. And I turned around, and before I recognized him, I saw scribbling notes, and I thought, oh, he's doing a Scott Marks, and then I looked up and it was him. So
nice.
So yeah, I would love to do that. We'll have to schedule that.
Definitely.
Cool.
Okay. Always a pleasure having you on, though, man. Thank you for making the time and dropping in.
With you guys. Yep.
And we still need to talk to Maggie Rose at some point too. So
yes, we absolutely do. Okay,
all right, brother.
Okay.
Take care, man. See you soon.
Yep. See you.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
You got to switch us to 2.
There you go.
Look at that.
Like a producer.
Well,
like I know what I'm doing.
That's what we're doing. All right, so we got Tommy Dorfman. Let's talk a little bit. It's going to be October. Halloween's coming up. We're probably going to talk a bunch about Halloween. Next week, we're going to do a Wook Club. That's a Halloween show. Ken Kesey, Gary Duncan sitting in with the Grateful Dead, 103191. What we would love is some audience participation from you guys. We really want to bring some people on to talk about the show. Even if you want to record something on your phone, I love the Dark Star from that night, yada, yada, yada. So we can run that door. We want it to become a more interactive thing since it's a Wook club. We don't want the club to be me and T.
Right. You see enough of us on here talking and dissecting and spewing bullshit. It would be nice to like have you guys on and spew bullshit and talk with us and make it more like a setting where we sit around and discuss the book of the week, the book of the club. So
right. And if you haven't seen what we're doing with it over on Volume, we actually get to listen to stuff.
Right.
We can play clips because there's no algorithm telling us we're violating our rights under fair use.
Exactly. Yes, Savvy. It was a nice 2-year anniversary. I can't believe that was 2 years ago, man. Like when Llama posted that the other day of the first night, I was like, that was 2 years ago. God, honestly, it feels like 5 years ago at this point, but it was crazy. It was only 2 years ago. And there's some announcements coming. They teased that they're releasing, there's an album. Their first album is coming out so shortly. Everything's up on streaming now.
Right. How much do we have in the archives?
We have a ton in the archives, and I still have a ton to get done. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, I tell you. But yes, time does fly, Savvy. It's fucking crazy. Yes, there are some rumors about a tour, Star Killer. Definitely 2026 is going to be a choice year, I think, for sure. So
like an honest to God tour, like 20 cities kind of tour, or a thing like they did before where it's 6 cities.
We'll see. They still need to make up the East Coast run from the fires canceling that. And I think they're still trying to work out doing some kind of, kind of like Dogs did with playing like a month or so every other weekend at the Troubadour type thing. Also, they're trying to hook up and do. So there's some things in the works that
is a proper tour the number of shows or the number of cities? We did a tour and we only played 3 cities, but we played 21 shows. Or we played 21 cities and played 40 shows or something.
Right. I mean, that's a tour, right? That's a tour. I think the others are just, I mean, as you're growing, anything on the road is sort of like a tour. But yeah, I saw the picture of my doppelganger. That was very funny. That was funny. Yes,
Somebody
streaming
walk up
papers,
to the
Dave. We will be. There's a lot of news coming with that. That's part of the reason why volume is so great, because hopefully we'll have some live streams of not just tapers, but some other things coming soon, and some festival reports live from the venues and some interviews and shit. So it's all in the works, man. It's all in the works.
Just don't try to shake someone's hand when you approach them in the bathroom. Is what I would say about that.
Even taking a picture of someone in the bathroom isn't always the best idea. Oh, nice. You're going to see real estate in Brooklyn. That will be awesome. That'll be fun, Savvy. Awesome. Good. They're fun. I saw them not too long ago when they were in LA. Fred Armisen came out and played with them. It was fun. They're great.
Who came out and played with them?
Fred Armisen.
Who's
The
that?
comedian. You know, the comedian guy, the guy whose band was the band on Late Night with Seth Meyers. You know, Fred Armisen from Saturday Night Live and shit. Yeah.
I remember Seth Meyers. Yeah. We're going to do a festival. We're bringing back the festival preview. I know we didn't do it this week. Me and T were both a little burnt out after so much stuff. We did 6 months, almost put something out every day for 6 months. But there's this festival coming up. You want to talk about this a little bit? Because this lineup is just insanely eclectic, to say the least.
This it's sort of a country, I guess you could say, lineup, sort of, kind of, but it's also got let's see, who did I tell you it's got?
Well, Brooks
it's got the Tedeschi Trucks Band playing with it. It's got Goo Goo Dolls, which they've been touring with, like, in and out of jam bands with them lately too. So it's kind of a weird, but it's called the Two Step In, which is really funny, right? Like it's two stepping, but it's two step and then INN.
Like a venue, like a place.
Right, like an inn that you would stay at. But it's like Brooks and Dunn are headlining Saturday night, and Chris Stapleton's headlining Sunday night. But then when you get down to the next level, it's like Goo Goo Dolls and the Red Clay Strays and Tedeschi Trucks, like I said. And it's this weird mix of mostly country, but also some other.
How did the Goo Goo Dolls end up there?
Jam things in there. I don't know. I don't know how any of these people ended up there. And it's taking place in Georgetown, Texas, which I'm not even sure where that is, in April of next year. So Kevin and I will be talking about that festival for next week or the week after.
Very interesting. And another festival, some other festival news.
Oh yeah, Portlandia. Good call to boot. Portlandia. Right. Put a bird on it.
We talked about festivals having problems selling out and things like that, and Coachella.
Which, so here's the weird thing too, and a lot of like Coachella purists, myself included, have bitched about this is the first year where all three headliners are like pop stars, right? Including the big one on Saturday night is Bieber. Sabrina Carpenter Friday, Bieber on Saturday, and then Carol G or whatever her name is on Sunday night. But you usually have at least one headliner that's not pop. Usually it was like one pop headliner and then, a big rock band or, EDM band or whatever. So people were kind of complaining about that. And yet this year, both weekends sold out way faster than last year's. So I don't know what that tells you. I don't know. It's one of those like quandaries where you're like, well, shit, like you can't bitch about the lineup when it's selling out.
Right. Well, that's what's selling it out, though, don't you think? Is those huge names?
Yes, exactly. No, that's totally what's selling it out. But that's also the flip side of that is I don't want pop stars headlining every night. I don't know. Yes. Oh, Mike Patton and the Adler Brothers just did a collab. It's good, Mr. Bungle says. Yeah.
That's crazy. I need to hear that.
But there's a lot of that crossover shit going on right now. Like there's so much of that kind of friendly fire happening between bands and artists and stuff, which then leads itself to the festival things. Cause then you're like, oh, maybe so-and-so will show up and play that one song with them that they do and things like that. And, as we were talking about ticket prices, you want it to be memorable. You want it to be special. You want those kind of things at those shows. So
I want my collaborations to seem natural though. Like Willie Nelson playing with the Super Suckers, as crazy as that sounded, it totally made sense when you step back and think about it. But when you have something like a Tony Bennett does, I'm going to do an album that's all collaborations with a bunch. It feels phony and it doesn't,
right. It doesn't mesh. Right. And it totally kind of like natural, kind of like what Taper's Choice did when they did the Relics thing not too long ago last year. Was that this year? Earlier this year? Was that last year? I can't remember now. All the years are combined, but that was one of those things where that all worked to get like that worked so well, doing those collabs with those other bands and stuff. That was so cool. So things like that. I agree, Kev. Totally. That's funny.
That is funny.
That's funny how that works. Well, Radio Ski
I'm kind of it's a long way off now, but I'm kind of excited about this trade tour. He has a lot of time off. What the hell is he going to do with himself? Go to some basketball games, maybe show up at the Jets game or something.
Probably write a new album.
Pay $40,000 for a courtside seat.
Yep.
You never see him courtside. He's like, fuck that. I ain't paying that price.
No, he's in the celebrity section.
Stu's like, Trey, all they have is platinum charity platinum tickets. He's like, screw that. I'm not going.
I'm not paying that.
I'm going to use my lifetime backdoor pass to the garden. Then I can just show up at the back door. Hey, it's me, Trey, man. Let me in.
Let me in. I live here now. Yeah, that tour though, it is a little ways off, but it is a good question, Kevin. I wonder what maybe like us, he needs a little bit of time off. He's been kind of going nonstop.
I just think he's a Bob Weir type person, though. He doesn't stop.
He can't stop. I agree. That's why I think he'll be working on a new album at the house, and like we'll have something new soon.
Maybe finish, yeah,
definitely.
And that they release it like 2 weeks before New Year's, right around Christmas. Get the bundle with the T-shirt and everything,
right? Bands at the barn.
Yeah, the T-shirt. Plus a special Pollock poster.
Right.
Postcard. Oh, it's a postcard. They aren't splurging that much.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my God. Evolve Part 2.
Yup.
God help us. Are you guys writing new music incoming? Yeah. That's fantastic.
Right.
They're letting Goose have their moment back out there on the road again, I guess.
They are.
We will not be doing that. I tell you what T and I were talking about. We're listening to, he and I are going to pick a weekend that Widespread's playing and go through and listen to all 3 Widespread shows and then maybe talk about that a little, because I myself have been derelict. I really do like their sound and what they do. It's right up my alley, Southern rock, loud guitars. I've just never gotten past my man's voice.
I know that's your biggest hang up. I know. And I personally love his voice, and I've always liked Panic a lot. So I think it'd be fun. Kind of like what we did with the Dave Matthews Gord show, was kind of like watch all 3 of them and then maybe do a recap of the weekend run or something like that, where, we can talk about it a little bit. Cause doing the Dave thing was a lot of fun. It was fun to kind of step outside and relive when I used to go to a lot of Dave shows, just like Panic. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. And since we got a little bit of downtime anyway, and other bands are touring, because we were like, we can't do Goose. We were like, Goose is touring. We could try and get back on that train, but it's just,
I don't like his voice either.
They're just not for me.
Yeti. I love that song Yeti, but
and they're opening. Hey, I would go back and watch. Maybe I should go back and watch the opening set that they did before Dave's show, because I really like that. And that really kind of got me around the corner on them. So I don't know, maybe if more shit sounded like that. But then I was watching highlights of their show the other night, and just the lights alone, like you were saying backstage before we got on, everyone wants to be like the Disco Biscuits now. And I feel like the Goose light show is like this crazy discotheque like lighting extravaganza.
Even Goose is trying to be like the Disco Biscuits now. They got the Goons, which I think is a direct ripoff of the Unts from Disco Biscuits lore. I'm dying here. You want to run that Neil Young minute?
Oh, yes, I do. It's that time. God, we haven't done it in a minute. So I felt like
it's been a hot Neil Young minute.
Well, we had a few long ones that went Neil Young 5 minutes. So we gave it a rest.
Cover your ears.
Cover your ears, Dave. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1.
The Neil Young minute. All right. fresh off of the last benefit concert he did at Farm Aid, Neil is going to, on October 25th of this year, bring back the Harvest Moon event at the Painted Turtle Camp up in Lake Hughes, California, about an hour north of you. Maybe 2 hours if you're on the other side of LA from where it is. But it's going to be Neil Young with Lana Del Rey and Beck.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
yeah, it's the Painted Turtle's going to get some money, which is a camp that
That's
deals
nice.
with children with chronic illnesses, and the Bridge School, which he's always supported
Yep.
because his kid had whatever going on. Tickets start at paltry $275 with VIP packages available.
They start at 270. That should be like the high end, but I guess it's for a good cause and everything. So,
and
I'm
that's
fine.
your Neil Young minute.
oh, I gotta play the outro. Hang on, cover your ears.
The Neil Young minute.
I put that comment up about Neil Young at Farm Aid was fire. Farm Aid this year seemed like the whole show was fire. Like all I heard was great things from it. The Dave and Tim set was phenomenal.
45
Like,
minutes. Yeah, I mean, it was solid.
Kev, you watched it all, didn't you? You watched most of it.
I watched most of it, and I went back and watched it after the PHiSH show. After we were done with the after show, I went and caught the Neil and the Dylan and the Willie set. Actually, I didn't watch that much of the Willie set because I saw him the weekend before, and I guarantee you it was note for note the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But everybody
still.
got 45 minutes. Great setup. Everyone got 45 minutes. It wasn't like an hour and a half headliner and a 30-minute first guy. Everybody got the same amount of time, had a chance to go out and take care of what they're doing. Next week, look for us. We're going to do that festival preview. We also have an interview with Andy Logan from Grateful Guitars. It's a long interview. We asked him for a half hour. We talked almost 2 hours. So that'll be dropping next week. If you were actually a member, you probably saw it. It's been hanging out in the members only section on volume and on the YouTube. So Spafford kicked out the bases and got much worse. Oh, well, that's yeah, I hear you. I love Jordan. Jordan's a good guy. I talked to Brian before too. He seemed like an all right guy, but yeah, I've interviewed Jordan.
Mike's asking Spafford recaps when.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, maybe
the
key is to have Jordan come on and talk with us.
There you go. Yeah.
No, we are not doing Oasis recaps. God help me. I wouldn't know an Oasis song if I tripped over it.
No, he just wants an Oasis minute where we can. And actually, the minute should just be the brothers are still getting along.
Right when they fight though, if they ever do get in a fight, yeah.
Right. Until then, though, the Oasis minute is they're still getting along. Tour is still moving along, and everyone loves it.
At this point, it looks like they're going to make it through tour.
Oh, don't knock on wood. Knock on wood after saying that. You never know.
You guys are the best. We love you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Savvy. Thanks, Star Killer, for being in both places. I'm really impressed with your back and forth on the volume and the YouTube chat, Star Killer. You are master chatter.
Leave a comment if you're watching this later and you want to talk about that Dead show. Let us know.
Yeah, definitely hit us up, guys.
Chat,
honestly, listen to it and let us know, and come on and hit it up with us. All of you, Dave, Mike's grooving. Listen to some Dead show. Even when we do PHiSH, we're going to do PHiSH after the Dead. So if the Dead isn't your thing,
Tuesday, 3 weeks from yesterday, we're going to do a PHiSH Halloween show, 11/2/98.
Yes. And there may be a new show coming out soon from Llama.
10/31/91, Dave. 10/31/91.
10/31/91 is the Dead show for next week. But Llama's kicking around an idea to do a new show too about having one guest on and discussing their favorite record from the 90s. So I think Kevin and I are gonna do that with him, and then he's gonna start asking people in the audience and friends of ours and you guys in the chat to come on and do it. So be thinking of one of your favorite 90s albums if you want to talk about it with Llama soon.
I was trying to think of a 90s album, and you know what I came up with?
Fear of a Black Planet.
That would be a good one. I was going to say No Doy and make him listen to a jam band album.
There you go.
That would have been the best album that came out in the 90s.
There's a lot, honestly, man. When I started, I was like, oh, this will be easy. And then I started looking at it and I was like, shit, man, like there's a lot. I could do like 5 episodes of this and do it. Like I don't know. There was a lot. there was a lot of good music in the 90s. Like, I hate to
Sure.
admit that now because I really wasn't into it at the time, but now the nostalgia factor and going back, I'm just like, man, then we had a good. There's a lot of listen to a lot of old hip hop. There's a lot of good hip hop that came out in the 90s.
There
like,
was
a lot of good beats.
Gangstar.
Yeah, and I told you that Public Enemy record they played a couple weeks ago on this radio station at night, and I was like, I forgot how fucking good this album was. Jesus,
Right, that came out in 90, huh? Mr. Bungle, you got to remind me. Bungle, you got to remind me earlier to turn the chat on so you can see it over there. I did turn it on, but it's late.
Sorry, guys.
Uh,
Yep. Yeah.
And that's
There it is
where
on-
we
there's a-
are
there's a
with
little on
that.
this
Yeah,
one, but
there it is. Took me a while. All right, so next week we'll be back. When the
G-Funk.
right,
There you go.
hopefully on October 4th, we're going to be able to live stream Dogs in a Pile over on Volume.
Yeah, Kev's trying to set up a live stream of Dogs in a
Neighbor,
Pile.
Dogs in a Pile, Seven Teller in a band called Reality Check Experiment out of Philly that are covering Ween's chocolate and whatever cheese album in its entirety.
And this is just the start. This is the start of what we're trying to do. Of
Right, remember
festivals.
before Billy, we're doing a live event with Mike Ayers, which will be
live
fun.
events, live music, live interviews, live events. That's our new thing that we're trying to bust through for next year, especially with festivals and concerts and shit. And
Right,
yeah.
we're getting Mike on sooner than later. We're actually Andy Logan. We're probably going to try to drag him on a Wednesday night to talk live because he was just fascinating and knew so much about the other
Everything.
side of stuff.
Everything. Fascinating talking guitars with that guy too. Amazing. Such a cool guy. All right, guys, this was awesome. Thanks for joining us on your Wednesday evening. We always appreciate you. Are you ready, Kev? Are you ready to record it?
I'll run the outro. You end the stream.
I will do that. All right, run the outro. Good night, guys. See you soon. Later. I love this song. It's such a mellow end to the show. It's like the come down, you know?
Yeah. It's so slow and the footage is so fast.
We need to do more shows just so we can have Jason write more theme songs. He's so good at it.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Sit, Wook,
Sit.
or sit.
Sit,